when a woman interacts with a man who has zero tolerance for nonsense, zero tolerance for talking back, for being, masculine and all this stuff, most women these days, they run, G. They run. I mean, until they hit a certain point in their life, the wall, they run. They run because that makes them, and it forces them to be a good woman. It forces them to watch the things that they say. It forces them to be respectful. It forces them to be submissive, which women aren't programmed to be these days, guys. So a few months ago, I made a video about why women are so attracted to bad boys, and I explained characteristics and traits that bad boys have that keep women around. All right, guys, and I explained why women are so aroused and attracted to these type of guys. Now, obviously, I went into the characteristics and the details as far as what these guys are like, as far as personality, what these guys are like, as far as responses to women, and the things that these guys do and say to keep women around and naturally attract women. But today, I'm going to talk about the psychology, and I'm going to get deep into why women actually are attracted to bad boys. All right, guys. So, obviously, one of the characteristics and traits of a bad boy is bad boys do not tolerate bullshit from anybody, especially women. All right, guys. And this is actually very attractive to women because what that tells her is that he is not easily manipulated, especially by her, and he's not going to let the world manipulate him. Okay, guys, he's not going to let people take him for granted. He's not going to let people use him, and he's not going to let people walk over him. This is a very attractive trait to women. Women love this about men, men who stand up for themselves, and men who don't take foolishness from anybody under any circumstance. All right, fellas. Now, like I always say, it's not the actual bad boy that the woman wants. All right, women don't want thugs. Women don't typically want guys rolling around with a 40 in their hand, a blunt hanging out their mouth, you know what I mean, pants sagging and things like that. Now, there are some women who are attracted to that, but for the most part, that's not what I'm talking about when I say bad boy. Yes, those type of guys, thugs and gangsters, they are naturally bad boys, of course. But for the most part in the modern world, the bad boy is a man who exhibits certain characteristics and traits. All right, it's not necessarily an appearance, because you can find a bad boy in a white collar office man, a lawyer. A lawyer can be a bad boy. You can find a bad boy in a chef. A chef can be a bad boy. Guys, don't matter what you are, don't matter what you do, you can be a garbage man and still be a bad boy. All right, guys. So another characteristic and trait that women love about bad boys is the experience and the thrill that bad boys can provide. All right, fellas. Most bad boys will provide a fun experience and a thrill for women. They know how to get women's emotions going. That's one of the things that women love about bad boys. Okay, bad boys know how to make a woman happy, then pull away and piss her off. All right, guys, while still maintaining his frame. All right, fellas. And that's really the biggest thing about bad boys. Bad boys understand how to maintain a masculine frame, but still give a woman an experience, still provide her fun, still make her laugh, still tease her, still arouse her. All right, guys, all while keeping a masculine frame. All right, fellas. So you don't necessarily have to be a bad boy to arouse a woman. You just have to understand these characteristics. Another thing that bad boys provide is safety. Okay, guys, safety. Most bad boys will get down in the fight if they need to because they don't mind protecting themselves, and not only themselves, but the people around them. All right, guys. Now, all bad boys don't know how to fight, but most bad boys are willing to fight. All right, guys. Most bad boys, like I said earlier in the video, will stand up for themselves even in a physical altercation. Women love this because that tells her that you will stand up for her. All right, guys. If anybody attacks her in your presence, you will be there to knock the dude out at any sign of threat. All right, fellas. This is what women love. They love the safety. They love the comfort. All right, fellas. Like a lot of guys get confused as to why women are always chasing behind bad boys or Tyrones, Pookies and Ray Rays. Is because Pookie and Ray Ray will knock you out if you ever talk crazy to his girl, and she know that. All right, Pookie and Ray Ray could be a dirtbag. All right, Pookie and Ray Ray could be. I'm talking about no job, sleeping on the couch, no nothing. But Pookie and Ray Ray will knock somebody out, and she understands that. All right, guys. So in most cases, on a primal level, women will rather a dude who really ain't got much going, but he will protect her at any sign of danger versus a dude who got a lot of stuff going on, but he's a coward and he's a wimp. All right, fellas. So I need you to understand this. Depending on where she is in her life and her hypergamous nature, which all women have, all right, guys, they're going to want certain things from a man. Now, guys, this is the big part. All right, guys, this is where it's going to be the difference between this video and the last video I did. Like I said, last video, I just talked about the characteristics and traits of a bad boy, which I just briefly explained. Now, fellas, when it comes to the psychology of why women actually like bad boys, I've done a lot of research, I've done a lot of observance, and from my experience, what I understand is that a lot of women, and this is not all women, guys, all right, all police, please let me free this video, all right, guys, but most women, they look for bad boys, especially in certain times of their life, because women understand that when they're dealing with a bad boy, they really don't have to be on their best behavior. Okay, guys, like when a woman is dealing with a bad boy, she understands that she doesn't necessarily have to be a good woman. Okay, guys, like she can treat him good, but she doesn't necessarily have to be a good woman. Okay, guys, usually the women who go after bad boys are usually young girls, all right, guys, or women who are emotionally damaged. All right, fellas, I'm gonna keep it real with you. All right, I'm gonna keep it G. A lot of emotionally damaged women will go after bad boys because if she went after a guy who's not a bad boy and who actually cares about her and who would take care of her, all right, fellas, she would be turned off by him. All right, fellas, because the reciprocation that has to happen, meaning the things that she's going to have to do for him, the way she's going to have to step up and be a good woman and start to be modest and, watch her mouth and be submissive and things like that, that's going to trigger certain emotions in a lot of women. All right, guys, a lot of women. One, because a lot of women have never seen women in that position, meaning seen women with a competent man who doesn't treat them like trash. All right, guys, who actually takes care of them, and a woman who submits. A lot of women have never seen that dynamic. Okay, fellas, a lot of women have only seen, especially in today's age. Okay, guys. Now, if you think about generally, okay, guys, generally over thousands of years, this may not be the case. All right, guys, obviously traditional, relationships existed many, many years, but in today's world, in a modern society, a lot of women have only seen the dynamic of a woman dealing with toxic men. Okay, guys, a lot of women and a lot of men for that matter too, but a lot of women especially have never seen a strong man, a strong, competent man treating a woman. Toxic men give women the room to be toxic. Okay, guys. So, because if you're dealing with a man who's emotionally stable and he has emotional intelligence and he's not toxic, he's not gonna let a woman be toxic. Guys, like he's not gonna let a woman act like that around him. He's not gonna tolerate all that shouting, all that screaming, all that arguing, all that going back and forth, talking back, talking over him. He's not gonna tolerate that. Okay, guys. And when certain women, especially these days, deal with men like that or interact with men like that, they run. They run. They have to because they haven't been programmed to understand that that's true masculinity. When I was younger, I know this from experience, bro. When I was younger, I was toxic, G. I was very toxic. Like I'm not toxic now. I don't think I'm toxic now. I still got some little bit of it in me, and I don't think it's really just me being toxic. I just think it's me just understanding life and being real red pill and understanding female nature. But bro, when I was younger, G, I was just all over the place and I was toxic and I got way more women. You know what I mean? And I understand the reason now because now at the age that I'm at, and especially the maturity that I'm at, bro, I have zero tolerance for nonsense. Like when I was younger, I used to deal with women talking back to me a lot, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I would go back and forth with them. I would argue with them, go toe to toe with them. But now, G, I can't tolerate a woman talking back to me one time, G. Like I just can't tolerate it. I'm like, you gotta go. I have zero tolerance, and it's crazy how much, when you evolve, the less and things you tolerate. But at the same time, my point is, when a woman interacts with a man who has zero tolerance for nonsense, zero tolerance for talking back, for being, masculine and all this stuff, most women these days they run, G. They run. I mean, until they hit a certain point in their life, the wall, they run. They run because that makes them, and it forces them to be a good woman. It forces them to watch the things that they say. It forces them to be respectful. It forces them to be submissive, which women aren't programmed to be these days, guys. You know what I mean? So bad boys, bro, like especially now, today's age, bro, it's like the best time to be a bad boy, because that's what women love, and that's what a lot of these women are attracted to these days. And I made the point that as women get older, they start to hit the wall and they stop wanting to tolerate that type of stuff. Gee, I don't think that's true these days, bro. A lot of these older women, they're still looking for the same type of men that the younger women are looking for, bro. That bad boy Machiavellian archetype. They're still looking for that. And I believe is because I mean, when I was younger, G, I used to look at my aunts and my grandmother, and when they were in like their 50s and 40s and stuff like that, those women back like even in the 90s, bro. And I don't even know how it was in the 60s and everything, because obviously I wasn't alive. But those women back in the 90s, bro, at 40 and 50 years old, they were way more mature than the women today in their 40s and 50s. Now you can say the same for men. You know what I'm saying? You can say the exact same for men, but I'm being honest with you, bro. And I'm not even being biased about this, bro. I'm being straight up, like, I'm keeping it G. The women's maturity, it has dropped far more than the men have, bro. Far more. Like when I used to party, I used to go out and I used to see 40-year-old, 50-year-old women pushing 60. And I ain't gonna lie, some of them still look good. Like some of these old women these days, bro, they be looking good. And I ain't even gonna lie, G. I'm gonna keep it straight up. Some of them look good, but I'm sitting there, I'm like, bro, I could never imagine my grandma at the club like that, bro, at 60 years old, pushing 60, still going to the club with a little skimpy little dress on, trying to get drinks. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't imagine that, but that's how it is now. So like I said, being a bad boy, or at least exhibiting these traits, bro, I'm telling you, G, you will win with women. Now, I'm not telling you to be a dirtbag, you know what I'm saying, and start ruining your life just to attract women. But you got to stop caring about what these women think, bro, especially these days, because these women are very masculine, bro. These women are very assertive. And if you want to have any success with these women, bro, you got to stop caring what they think, bro. You got to think like a man, bro. Start being assertive, start being deliberate, because the more deliberate I am, the more assertive I am, the more dominant I am. Yes, I get complaints from some women that I'm too dominant or too masculine or toxic masculinity and misogyny, all this nonsense. But at the same time, I still get respect from the women. They always come when I call, and they always will be attracted to it, and they love it. As much as women complain, that's what they want. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a woman's job to test you, when you're being masculine. She trying to see if that's really you. You know what I'm saying? So it's their job to kind of, repel it at the beginning. But for the most part, bro, you just stand on your toes, stand on business, bro, and let her know, like, nah, this ain't no game. I'm really about that life. They'll respect it and they'll submit for the most part. All right, fellas. But the problem is a lot of guys, they get aggressive or they get masculine, they get a frame, and then a woman breaks them down with the shit test. And she figures him out, realize that he ain't really about that life. All right, fellas. So I think the main point I'm trying to cap off today is I think that a lot of women, the reason why they like bad boys these days, bro, is because a lot of women just mentally damaged, bro. They're emotionally damaged. And this is not to bash women, but this just to help you guys understand that what you're dealing with. Okay, guys, you're dealing with a lot of women who, they're not used to, real traditional masculinity. There's they want like the rapper type. They want the bad boy. They want the F boy. As much as they say that they don't, that's the dudes that they're sleeping with. You know what I'm saying? Because when I'm like that, when I'm on the F boy stuff, they always come. But when you start having standards, when you start having morals, you start having values, that's when they run. Now, which one you pick out of the standards, the morals, and the values of being an F boy, bro, always go with the standards, the morals, and the values. And that's how you weed out the trash women and the toxic women from the quality women, because quality women won't tolerate too much of that nonsense, that I've been explaining today. They won't tolerate that because quality women are not emotionally damaged. Quality women don't carry around a bunch of trauma. Everybody has trauma, but quality women don't let the trauma affect their relationships and their personal life. So fellas, if you have not seen the first Bad Boy video, here it is right here. Go check it out. This one here, I get real deep into the characteristics and the traits of a bad boy. Go check that out. I appreciate you guys for watching the video today. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. And if you have not liked the video, don't forget to like the video. It's your boy KD. We out here, baby.